Hey, Shawn, how are you today? We got a lot going on here.
Yeah, we certainly do. Timmy, a lot of the topics that we talk about is trying to promote the city, but also shining the light on a lot of the little things that have caused the city to look dirty and not be at its best. Right? We talk about
Yeah.
you know buildings that are falling apart and weeds and sidewalks and new roadways. We talk about how nice they look. We talk about the dangers that they present in
Yep.
design and all those kind of things. But today we really have a podcast of serious nature. And the reason I say that is because we're going to talk today about safety issues. We're going to talk today about safety issues that put people's lives in danger or could result in some real serious injuries. We know that the city of Cohoes has been brought into the circle from employees about safety issues that they were concerned about. And let me just give the audience and yourself a little update about what I know. I know that back in uh, March and in April, there was safety concerns raised in two different locations, one at the water filtration plant, one at the sewer pump station, which is right next to Arnold Mendoza's garage. It's in that same building. And these were issues serious enough that employees felt like their lives could be at stake, that they could be injured very badly, and that something needed to be done. So they brought them these issues to the city's attention. And when they didn't feel as though they were getting any results, it appears that somewhere along the line, a filing was made with PESHA. Now, PESHA is OSHA, but in the public sector, right? And somebody filed a complaint, or the union filed a complaint, or somebody did. And I don't know who that was, but regardless, it doesn't matter. The city knew about these issues and did nothing about it. So they filed the issue with PESHA, and PESHA came in and gave the city a list of things that needed to be done because they found serious safety violations. Now, Timmy, there's a lot of different kind of violations, right? There's some that are just, hey, there's a bottle with some kind of liquid in it. We don't know what it is, and it's not labeled. You got to label all your bottles, blah, 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 right? But some of them rise to the level of a serious violation. And a serious violation in the workplace is a violation which can cause an accident or an illness that could lead to death or serious harm. These are not little petty ass things, right? These are real important issues. And the city knew about these. PESHA came and informed the city, cited the city, and told the city they had to get these things fixed.
Right. And how many citations do you believe they got?
So I was under the impression, reading the documentation that is up on the screen here, there was 35 serious safety violations.
Oh, that's an awful lot.
It certainly is. Enough that you should stop putting people in any of those positions where they can get hurt and immediately get up there and fix these problems, right?
Yes.
And I heard there was 4 of the other nature that weren't so serious but needed to be addressed. But to this day, Timmy, most of these things in the sewer plant haven't been fixed where the pump station is, and only a handful of the ones have been addressed and fixed at the water filtration plant. So PERB, who oversees the grievances and oversees the labor issues with the city and unions, should really also be called by the city employees and fight these bastards to get these things done on 2 fronts, one from PERB, one from PESH. That would be a recommendation that I would make, because the union has a right to fight them as saying they're putting the employees in unsafe working conditions. And the other one is the state of New York saying, get them fixed because you are in unsafe working conditions. And unfortunately, as of just a couple days ago, a second visit from PESH comes, and a lot of these things ain't fixed. And guess what? Now the city's in some serious problems because they didn't address the concerns. That's how much they care about their employees. They don't address 35 serious safety violations that put people's lives at risk for death or serious injury. I don't make that up. That's in the statute, Timmy. I didn't just come up with that for the show.
And they could be fined daily for that. The city can be fined daily, correct?
They are being fined, and I think it's going to be expensive. Now, these are bureaucracies of government.
Right.
Sometimes they say we fine you and they ring up the fines, and after you get it fixed, you can apply for waivers. But it ain't the point. It's the point that an outside agency recognized that these employees are not just blowing smoke. This is not just a labor issue, right? That this is real serious safety concerns where the people's lives could be put in danger. And the city's done nothing about it. So I wanted to bring in a guest, right? And it was Brendan LeQuy, as you know, right? We brought in Brendan.
Right, Brendan's running for the second ward down there.
He's running for the second ward, but there's proof, not just me and you, not just a couple of employees, but there's proof that another person of concern addresses the city of Cohoes at a council meeting directly to the mayor of the city and says, what the hell are you going to do about these things? And in this little interview that we did with Brendan a couple nights ago that will be added to this segment, you'll hear the mayor say, oh, I knew about 8 or 10 of them. Bullshit, you knew about 8 or 10 of them. It's inside of the documents that you get as the mayor of the city, citing all of the violations and telling you that they're serious. So I want to take a minute to welcome Brendan and have him come in and just tell a little bit about his story.
Right, and the mayor downplayed this too, as the public safety officer.
Well, he's still downplaying it.
Yeah, he's downplayed it. So anyway, on to Brendan.
Yeah, let's bring Brendan in and welcome him to the show. Thank you for coming on the show. I know that it's late at night. It's about it's 9:45 at night. This is the typical for me and Timmy to get these things up and running. But I appreciate you doing it this late at night. I don't know if you went to Rock the Block and enjoyed some of the concerts, but here we are, and this is really, really an important topic, right? We've had many important topics on this show. We've talked about a lot of things, the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to promote this city, but when they do something so egregious as the topic we're going to talk about, it needs to be exposed because people's lives are at stake. And what I'm talking about, everybody, is that the city of Cohoes, for a very long time now, understood that there was a ton of very unsafe conditions that our DPW workers and people in the filtration plant had to work around. And the city at this point has done absolutely nothing to fix those problems, right? I mean, and from what I'm seeing here, they were cited again by the state. I think they're going to start being fined now. And I want to talk about that with you because I know that you went to a council meeting on several occasions. You're running for office down in the second ward, and you're very active and very vocal, and I appreciate that. But I want to talk about what's happening today because these people are in harm's way. I was a firefighter. I know what it's like when you have these little things happen all the time, and they lead up to a big thing, right? You think, it's not going to happen to me. Next thing you know, you're buried under 20 foot of clay or sand and you die. This is not shit that you just take lightly. This is stuff that people should have their heads on the chopping block for. And, that's the problem with the city. We don't see that happening here. It's kind of like the workers are just, you do what we tell you. It doesn't matter if it's unsafe. We make the decisions. And if you talk back to us, we're going to suspend you. We had guys 45 days, 30 days. Guys have quit. Right. Long tenured employees said, screw this city. I'm not working under these conditions and quit. So that's why I asked you to come on the show. I know Timmy asked you to come on the show. We appreciate you being here. Let me just show the audience and show you something, Brendan. This is the video of you at a council meeting. So, we can substantiate that you did talk to the mayor. And I just want to show it to the audience.
Brendan LeQuy, 9 Grand Street. It's come to my attention that there are numerous issues with a raw water pump station on Mohawk Street, where it's also been brought to my attention and brought to the attention of city officials previously, before it became as much of an emerging problem that it is right now. Is there an estimated time frame when all of that's going to be resolved? And as important as a building as this location is, it's not the most important infrastructure in the city. Why was it neglected for so long?
Could you elaborate on the problem?
There's, to my knowledge, 30 to 40 violations that building is currently facing. Are you aware of that?
I know that the Department of Labor has been in, but I mean, you're talking about the operation of the pump itself being critical.
The building's infrastructure, there's multiple different other issues that are ongoing in that. that I don't have all the materials as of right now. I put in a request to go actually physically look at the building. And hopefully I get to go and view it and see what all these problems specifically are. But to my knowledge, it's been addressed to the city that there's about 30 to 40 violations currently standing.
I'm aware of maybe 10 or 12 issues that the Department of Labor cited, all minor issues, and they're all being remedied. I mean, keep in mind that this building's a water treatment plant.
You're at a city council meeting. You're directly talking to the mayor of the city who runs the city, who should know everything about the city. And basically you're telling him there's violations and you're asking, hey, when are they going to be fixed? Do you know about these? And he gives you the bullshit answer. Oh, I don't know. I know about 12 of them. And then basically you said, wait a minute, the city got notice of these things. Tell me a little bit about what you know, what you said, and what was said at that meeting. Would you please?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to say thanks, Shawn, and thanks, Tim, for having me on. And I want to say thank you as well to always keeping the citizens of Cohoes informed with the politics and everything like that. I think it's important what you guys are doing, and I think it's a lot of people appreciate you as well. So I want to start off by saying that.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So this all started, that video clip that you just showed there that the viewers just watched there was on May 23rd. And it was brought to my attention that all these violations had come out of this water pump station. And if people don't know watching at home where this is located, it's right next to Mendoza's by the mills. Shawn, I'm sure you know where it is.
Right,
Timmy, I'm sure you know where
mills.
it is. And there was two reasons why I was actually really concerned, especially when I got my hands on these violations and seeing what they are. And the first is that this building is, if not, and I stated this in the video, this building in particular is one of the most important pieces of infrastructure, if not the most important piece of infrastructure in the city. It takes the water out of the river and pumps it through the station, travels it up to the Fleet Station water pump station up there, and that's where we get our clean drinking water, etc. And then the second is that the number of violations that we now know, he said there was only what did he say off the video? 10 to 12.
I think he said 10 to 12. Yeah.
12,
12. To be honest with you, I don't think he knew exactly the location where I was actually talking about. I think he thought it was about the water station up at Valit, but nonetheless, each violation that was cited by New York State, deemed serious, and that we now know, and I'm sure you have the visuals on the screen as well for the viewers to see, 35 serious violations, and each violation is $200 per day from the date it has to be done. $200 a day the city can be fined if it's not cleaned up since then. So, and that was the first occasion that I talked to the mayor in regard to that. And when I brought it to his attention, you could hear him say, oh, it's only 10 to 12 violations, this, that, and the third. But the second time I brought it up to him, which was last month, by that time it would have accumulated, those 35 serious violations accumulated to $7,000 a day for the Cohoes taxpayer, which obviously that's a main concern for anybody. And at that time, it was the mayor and Brian Kremer, the town prosecutor, town attorney, telling me, oh, what you deem serious and what we deem serious in the building such as this is not what New York State deems to be serious as well, and things of that nature. And I question them. I think these are serious. I'm not saying serious by the means of they're serious. There's like huge gaping holes, or there's like infrastructure actually falling down, which there very well may be. And let me just mention this. After that first initial meeting, I actually put in a request to the city to go see not only that water station, the Valit water station, and both fire departments to look over their infrastructure to compare to these violations to what I seen. And I was denied to see all of them with no reason of the denial, just to let everybody know out there. I was completely denied.
Now, was that by a FOIA request?
I put in a request through the city, and I was denied. Yes. I think it went through Miss Primo.
Yeah, it goes to the mayor's office, and it goes up to Brian, who thinks he knows everything about everything. He's an attorney. And when I was a firefighter, the guy used to try to tell me what was safe. It wasn't safe. He wouldn't know his ass from his hand when it comes to what's safe. He's a lawyer. I don't think he's got a callus on his freaking hands, right? He's never been in a burning building. He ain't going down into ditches that require you to have safety boxes in them, but they don't have the safety box. They're going down 20 feet. People get killed when morons are the ones leading your path. I always said, don't let somebody lead you down this path that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Make sure that you know what you're going to do. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you protect yourself, because the guy next to you who's giving you all the freaking orders, he's never been in the burning building. He's never been in the ditch. Yeah. That's the problem. And that's what you face. That's what I understand that when I was the president of Firefighters Union, I faced it every day. John McDonald, then you had Brian Kremer and all these other morons that are out there telling you what's safe and what's not, who've never done the job.
Well, there was a cave-in up on Western Avenue about back somewhere in about 2013, and someone lost their life because
that's when they were building the new apartment
that
complex.
development right behind on the hill over there. I can't think of the name. I think it's Oxford Heights or something like that.
Yeah, it was up on Hilltop when they were.
Yeah,
I think
Hilltop,
they were building
yes.
Hilltop, and then because
Hilltop.
I was on the job at the time.
Right, and so someone, because they didn't put but that was a private contractor. You think the city would have learned?
The city's still responsible to make sure that the private contractors are following the rules. The most important thing here, let me just make this as clear as I can. And if you don't understand this, then I don't know what else to tell you. Every day you walk out of your house and you go to work, it's number one that you come back home. Mm-hmm. And when you have politicians who don't give a shit putting you in danger, it becomes problematic. I dealt with it for 28 years, and it hasn't gone away. Now, you have a state trooper, a guy who is in charge of state police, right? You would think that he's the big safety guy, that he would make sure they're safe. But you know what? They don't care. Get in the hole, fix the pipe. I got to get reelected. That's the problem in this political world that we live in. I know I was part of that political world. The difference was I was a firefighter, always a firefighter and safety guy first, right? I actually remember when
the mayor is the public safety commissioner right now.
Timmy, I went and made DPW wear helmets and goggles and had all the safety equipment. And I understand people don't want to have change. They filed a grievance and said they weren't going to wear them. I said, well, if you don't wear them, go home. Right. I said, you're on the back of a garbage truck. You fall off, crack your head, you're dead. You're in a hole. You don't have the box in there and it caves in. You're dead. You know, these are little things. And I learned as a firefighter, when most firefighters get killed at a fire, it's not one major mistake. It's a bunch of little things that they just overlook, like, I've done this 1,000 times. All these little things. Now, there's times when it's, a major incident that causes it, but a lot of times it's the little things. And we do it all the time. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I've been doing this 30 years. Well, guess what? 30 years in one day, you're dead because you didn't do something.
Right. And Brendan, when they denied these things, did they give you the statute under 87? Of the FOIA law in which it was denied? They got to give you a statute.
Well, he's not foiling anything. He's asking for permission to go into a building. It's not through a foil.
I asked him if he foiled, and he said he did.
Yeah, I don't think I actually I don't think I actually foiled the request. It was more just a request from the city.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good enough. A lot of people would come in and say, "Hey, can we go and look in this building? Can we go visit this?
Yeah.
Can we?" Sometimes you say no because you're not an official of the city and you're not covered by insurance. Anytime you don't want somebody to do something, Tim, you know what you say? Oh, Jesus. Insurance companies. Yeah, it's against it's all bullshit. It's just, it's the tool that they use to keep you from doing what they don't want you to do. Right. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So he wants to go in and take a look. He's running for office. He should have somebody take him in there and let him take a look at it. Anybody running for office should have an opportunity. I understand that they don't want everybody walking through, but here's what we do know. At least I think we know this. And Brandon, you got to tell me this, right? This guy has no clue, according to him speaking to you at that meeting, that there's 35 serious, right? Because there's levels of violations. Serious means somebody could get hurt or killed, right? He doesn't know there's 35 of these things, but didn't he get some kind of documentation saying, hey, there's safety violations up there?
I mean, to my knowledge, the mayor is supposed to be in on all of these conversations, is he not? Shawn, when you were mayor?
Yes, when I was the mayor, I was on everything because you know what? The buck stops at him. But I guess that was my point. He's telling you one thing when two people who are not, I'm not in office no more, you're not in office, and we know more about the safety violations than him. So here's what I learned today, and I think that this is something important for you, Brendan. What I learned today is, you know how they fixed them right now? The commissioner of DPW went up and changed all of the locks, locked the building, and he's the only one that has a key. Great idea, right? It's the pump house. So if the pump goes down and he's not around because he's in, on vacation, or he's in, took off for the day, what do you got to break the door down? And here's the problem. They don't give a shit. You can't just lock the door, because somebody will have to get in there. Maybe there's a fire and the firefighters have to get in there, and somebody gets hurt because the safety violations the city knew. You can't just say, well, we locked the door, nobody can go in. That's half-assed. That's moron stuff. That's stuff that you see in a comedy on TV. It's not something that in real life that the mayor and the DPW commissioner or anybody else in charge should be doing to fix the problem. I mean, what's your position on that? I just want to hear what you have to say about that.
And to my knowledge, there's a panel in there, a reset panel.
There's a reset panel?
Yep. There's a reset panel in there that, and if anything had happened in the middle of the night, is the commissioner going to come down at 3:30 in the morning? This has never happened before. That door's never been locked before. To my knowledge, in the years that it's been open. And additionally, in that room, there's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment that hasn't been moved since the last foreman that was using that as his office in over a year and a half.
Listen, I know
thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
They spent a shitload of money on a van, right? Fixed it up for the guy who was, and the van, all the money, Timmy, it's still sitting there. Nobody uses it. All the tools sitting there. Nobody uses it. And then you lock the freaking door and say, I just fixed the problem. Hey, no, you didn't fix the problem. You're just creating more problems. How about you do this? Recognize you're both the leaders in the city. You're overseeing the life and safety of all the people that work in that department and anybody who may have to go in that building. Take some pride and fix the freaking problems. It's that simple. But no, they don't do that. And I want to show you both something else. I want you to see this project, because not only do they have all these violations, my understanding, and I'll stand corrected, but I'm pretty freaking sure that they were doing a job digging some kind of hole to get to some pipe, and I don't know what it was because I'm not there, right? But it's a 15-foot hole. And somehow Pesh went up there and shut him down and said, this is serious shit. I don't even know where to start looking. You got people's lives in danger. Timmy, you got all these violations, and you have them, and your fix is to lock the freaking door, and then the next day you're digging a hole 15 foot and you're sending people down in it without putting the right size box and the right size, I should say the right size box and any other safety equipment that's necessary. But no, they got shut down because they weren't doing that.
Now, when code enforcement comes and shuts down your little project at your house, they put the fear of God in you. Okay. Now the state comes after them, or Pesh, and gives them violation tickets and stuff like that, and they blow it off. It's meaningless.
Well, look at
that. That should concern you, right, Brendan?
Let me show you the picture. I want you guys to see the hole. Up in was it the first ward that we had up there, right?
Jay and Hamilton Street.
Right.
That was another hole up there.
Now that hole up there is nothing like this one, but the same thing, Brandon. They left they left it open for months. Kids running in the alleyway, people coming out of their back, the back of their house into that alleyway, somebody walking down it in the dark. If they fell in that one, they would have broke their leg. They could get killed falling in this one. And what did they do? I seen it today. They left it wide open in an alleyway. And when I went up and looked at it, there was people coming in and out of the alleyway going to work. And the lady said to me, yeah, that's really nice, isn't it? I said, holy shit, I cannot believe that they would leave this like that. But they got cited, stopped work, time out. Once again, you're putting people's lives in danger. Those DPW workers are loyal, hard workers, smart as hell. But you know what? The hardest worker, the smartest worker sometimes does what the boss says. They've done it 100 times, never got hurt. They get lucky and they do it. But it's supposed to be the boss to make sure that they're safe.
And that's what I was going to say, Shawn. When it all comes down to this, I was going to say, so the DPW, I have a bunch of friends on DPW. I'm sure you know a bunch of people on DPW, both of you. They're great guys, great Cohoesiers. But it comes down to poor leadership, poor management, and people just not doing the job that they're paid by the Cohoes taxpayer to do.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And the sad part is somebody could get killed. and we have
especially at
serious.
night. Especially at night, you're walking
Timmy, if
through
you
those
see
places.
this, you
Yeah,
shit your pants, because when you called me up and said, Shawn, you got to see this hole in this alleyway. Somebody's got to break their leg. Some little kid's got to fall in it.
yeah.
uh, we made sure that we did the podcast. We showed the hole, and miraculously they were up
Two
there the
days
next
later,
day, yeah, filling it with some rocks, right? They filled it
right?
with rock or slate or something. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it was stone, some kind of
But
a
they filled it with
shell
some
stone.
kind of
Yeah,
stone, right? If you seen this hole, not only would you fall in with your leg, Timmy, you would
you,
fall in, and I'd never see you again. Maybe that's why they left the cover off. They thought you
yeah.
were going to go up and do a
They
little
figured
investigative.
I was gonna run right down there
Thought you were
with a
going to go
drone,
right up there,
take photos there, and I'd end
yeah,
up in a hole.
and they'd be like, "Where the hell Timmy go?"
Yeah.
You got to laugh, because if you don't, you get so freaking mad, because
I
I
agree.
know a lot of those people,
Hmm.
and a lot of those people are my friends, and I don't want them to get hurt. And you know what? We work in a dangerous situation every day, and there's inherent risk of getting hurt on all these jobs. So, so you don't want to make it worse by your own people putting you into a position that you could get killed.
And Brandon, this is what happens with our people that get elected. Okay, you bring up a problem with to either the mayor or whoever, and boom, they throw it right in the corporation council's lap, and he dismisses everything as it's not serious, it's not a big deal. This
Yeah.
is what been going on forever. Okay, you've got to get a council more involved. Okay, with members there, and I've always said, look, you got to have your own um, means to seek second opinions because Kremer's got too much power here. Okay, and that's my opinion. Okay, and you know he it's not his call. As Shawn says, he doesn't get his hands dirty. He doesn't know what's going on. He blows everything off.
This is public safety, right? You got a
It is.
fire chief, you got a police chief, you got the mayor of the city. They're the ones who should be making the decisions. You got a DPW commissioner. These people oversee
Yeah.
their workforce, not Brian Kremer.
No.
Now, I have no problem with Brian Kremer. He worked for me. He's a decent guy. He works for the mayor, and he's going to do what he's told, right?
Yeah.
But if I
Hmm.
listened to every single thing they told me, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, that's not, da, 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 the
Yeah.
city would still be, well, it is a shithole again, but it would have never became a top 3 city. We would have never had a $6 million downtown revitalization. We never would have had $75 million of investment. These people are machines that think in one, dimensional. Guys like
Yeah.
me thinking 360 degrees. I can't be bothered by a lawyer who tells me you can't do that or you can't do that. Yeah, you can. You just got to be creative. But when these lawyers tell people that what you think is safe and what I think is safe is two different things, you bet your ass, because what I think is safe is going
Yeah.
home at night. What
Hmm.
you think is dangerous is sharpen your pencil and one of those little hand crankers, right? I've been in fires. I've had the shit scared out of me thinking I wasn't getting out, right? I fell through a hole in the city, almost broke my back. It was a sinkhole in the because there was a broken pipe and they didn't address it. They put a cone over it, and the kid stole the cone. And in the middle of the night, we have a fire, and I fall into that hole. Things happen.
Hmm.
What's the coincidence of me walking down an alleyway, right? That's 5 foot, 6 foot wide, and I just happen to step in a hole that's as big as my foot, right? It
Hmm.
happens. The
Yeah.
odds would be, oh, nobody's going to step in that. Oh, Shawnee boy stepped in it. I
It
almost
happens.
lost my career over it. So the bottom line is the city is not doing what they're supposed to do. Steve Hennessy, I've known him my whole life. Steve, get off your ass and start treating these people with better respect than you're treating them, right? Don't lock the door. Fix the problems. Keeler, I don't have nothing to say about him because every time I do, it's bad, and I don't want people to think I just got some bitter feelings. I don't give a shit about the job. I care about the people going home.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
guy's supposed to be the cop who's going to come in day one and make the city great again. Well, the city was already great again when he walked in the door. He's making it into a shithole, unsafe, disrespect for the employees, and it's sickening. And I hope the employees stand united. I hope that people who are coming into the next council, I know you're running and you have an opponent, and I wish you both well. Maybe you both come on the show, have a little debate, talk about the issues. That would be another story, right? For another time. But whoever gets in there, and I understand this is a strong mayor form of government, and I like those kind of governments because I think that you get things done. But that doesn't mean that you don't stand up and be vocal, right? I appreciate you going to that council meeting. I appreciate you on behalf of whoever came to you. You were representing them just as a good guy right now. You weren't doing it politically, as a good human being. You're a good guy. I appreciate that. My brother works for DPW. I got cousins. I got friends. In every department. I just want them to go do the
Yeah.
job and go home.
And
And
take
God
a look,
forbid.
right? And take a look at me, okay? I'm not running for anything. I'm not involved in any of the politics, but I care about my city, and this is why I do what I do, okay? And
Well,
same thing with Sean.
yeah, and what's most important for me is this. Again,
Yeah,
there's an inherent risk to getting hurt in these jobs, right? There
yeah,
really is. They're jobs that many times are unsafe. You don't want the people who are supposed to lead you to make it unsafer, more dangerous.
yeah.
You don't want them to neglect the rules. You don't want them to sidestep, this little task that nobody thinks is important until somebody gets killed. You want them to say, these are the rules. I want you to go home. I know we got to dig a little deeper. We got to use a shovel. We got to put up the boards. We got to put in the box. I know it's a pain in the ass. It takes us another, 6 to 10 hours to get it done. But here's what I do know. We're going to do it right. And you're going to go home tonight. And that's all I care about. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on our show. I really
appreciate it, guys.
appreciate
Thank you
you.
so much again. I appreciate it again.
Yeah, and I
Got-
appreciate you having the
yeah.
courage and your convictions as just a good guy to go to the city. And I hope you continue to go back. I hope you go back at the next council meeting and say, okay, all the times I've been here telling you about these stupid violations, and now we're cited for it. Now you're
we
going to
got
be
hard
paying
copies,
fines.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
can assure you that I'll be at the next council meeting again,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
since the last council meeting that they told me they got extensions for all this thing. But fast forward this week, and then we can know that's obviously a lie.
well,
because
here's
they-
what we know. We know they bullshit. We know they lie. From the ambulance
How do you get extensions for violations?
listen, the state of New York, Pescia.
Safety violations.
Yeah, but Pescia is a pain in the ass too, right?
Yeah,
Because they want, first of all, they're there to keep people safe.
yeah,
But there's a lot of leeway in government. That's why OSHA's OSHA, Pescia's Pescia,
Yeah.
right? Pescia oversees state employees. There's a lot of politics. Well, we know they don't have a lot of money. We'll let you slide with this if you temporary fix this. But at the end of the day, they're not going to let you just lock the door and say that it's a fix. And the city's going to lose money. And boy, do they piss away more money than any administration I've ever seen in my life. And this is just more money. And Brian Kremer is wrong if he thinks that there won't be some penalty. I was the mayor of the city. I paid $20,000 because they were dumping dirt over the Garner Street viaduct, the bridge there,
yeah, right.
and using it as a dump. I had nothing to do with it. In fact, the day that I became mayor, I promised the people up there I'd put a chain across, there'd be no more dumping. They fined me 20 grand. We paid the 20 grand. If they're going to fine you for dumping leaves over the bridge, I can only imagine what they'll do if you have 35 serious safety violations. But I appreciate you coming on the show. I wish you well in your election. Again, if you and your opponent ever want to come on the show, we'd love to have you guys. And stay safe. And Timmy, don't go up by that big hole because there's no board over the top of it. And I need you for the next show. And I appreciate it. And I know we'll talk soon, man. So,
Like
brother,
I told
take
you,
care.
Sean, they're going to need kryptonite to get rid of me.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
Timmy, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay,
Hey, listen, if you like our show and you're watching our show, you're interested in hearing about the show, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, tell your friends about it. Subscribe, though. It's really important for us to continue to see more people subscribing. Helps grow the podcast, helps us get some other opportunities to have longer dialogue better dialogue, better production. It's all based on how many people watch. Timmy, doing really well, right? 20,000 people.
Right, and the good thing is you get a notification bell, so when we put up a new podcast, you get notified, so you know it's there.
Yeah, so you don't have to wait for me and Timmy to
And I'm
forget to put
getting a
up.
lot of people, they call on up and or they'll see me out and about and they'll say, hey, I watch your podcast all the time. They're interested. We put out good information, and that's what this is all about. Not to
Yeah.
hurt the city, but but to inform the public.
Yeah,
And
let them
you
draw their
wouldn't
own
know,
conclusion.
right? And you wouldn't know about the safety violations, the 39 of them. You wouldn't get it from the city. You're getting it from us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listen, before we close out the show, I want to talk about something that I think is really good, and
Mhm.
it's a happy moment and a sad moment at the same time. But
Yes.
our good friend Matt LeBombard, who has served our city with great pride as a police officer, decided it was time to hang up his badge and move on to the next phase of his life, and he retired. And I just want to give him a big shout out. Hey, Matt, congratulations. You're a good man. You served well. You've done a lot for kids. You continue to work with kids. I think he's going to be working at the school as a safety officer. Couldn't find a better person for that job. But congratulations. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being Cohoes proud, and good luck on the next venture of your life.
Nice work there, Matt. Thank you very much for your service in Cohoes. And I understand you got a sibling that's also doing it, so it's going to carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. His son's a police officer, great
That's
kid.
right. Pass the
I
baton.
got a chance to see him the other day at Mixed Pizza, and he looks just like his father, and
Yeah.
he's serving with great pride as well. And his wife,
That-
Kathleen, who also works for the city, does a fantastic job as well. So congratulations to Matt and his family. Good luck on the next stage, Matt. And I'm sure I'll see you at coffee time with the retirees at Stewart's. And
That's right.
I like to close at that, Timmy, because I'd rather
Okay.
leave on a good note.
That's right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
you're right. I'll see you soon, man.
Okie doke. Take care.
Take care.